Hello, guys. Welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
And today, we're heading somewhere. We're heading to either the bridge or sick bay or one of the rooms of this new Voyager-A we see in Prodigy Season 2. And we gotta take the corridor. That's a hallway. And Sam looks so sad.
It's because we've moved away from the future and we can't just beam between rooms. We've got to walk down corridors again. Walking! I didn't join Starfleet to walk places! No, back to corridors! Guys, and the Voyager-A, the successor to the Intrepid class. Designed by Rick Sternbach and the team. Glorious. Glorious is the Voyager. Now, they obviously do the precedent, the power of the Voyager-A. So let's see how they did for the corridor of the A.
Wow. Well, what was your first thought? I'll ask you first.
So my first reaction is not bad. It feels, to me, more like a facility, like a starbase, sort of more industrial-looking corridor. It has a personality, but it's not sleek, refined, or advanced. Or it could even be like kind of a starbase in the NX era with how many sort of blocky angles there are. But I do quite like the ceiling lights.
Mm. Yeah, that's the one thing I thought too, is it doesn't feel like a starship corridor. It's way too big. Even compared to the Enterprise D corridors, which are quite large. Like, look at the amount of room. It feels like a Planet of the Week facility, like the central building of like a TNG episode where they beam down to talk to the president or something. And the lack of uniformity of the colors and the panels, it doesn't feel like a starship corridor. There's always been like a very nice, it's a certain look, very symmetrical, very segmented. This feels very disjointed.
Yeah. And it could be a specialist corridor, but to assume we're going to see one specialist corridor out of all the show, you know.
Well, you assume it's just a regular one because the curve almost seems like it could be the curve of the primary hull. So it feels just like a regular corridor, and it just seems oversized. It feels like STO sized.
My assumption, which is what we also had with the, a few things. The Enterprise D bridge in Season 1, which was wrongly scaled because it had to be scaled to look right for the kids, which then scaled it wrong in reality. And like Rok-Tok's comm badge is almost the size of, their ears, right? Like, they've done a few things just to work, to make their cast look inside the universe. And I think even you asked one of the creators, they said, no, that's just a normal size comm badge. Just ignore it looking bigger, right? Like, it's not a phone size comm badge. So I think in this case, they've had to scale up the ceiling to fit Rok-Tok because she's, of course, like 8'7", and therefore if it was a normal size corridor, all the shots would be right there, and that would then look weird and relative. So by making it giant, the whole thing looks weird, but now you get the benefit of being able to do all the normal camera angles. But yeah, this also does bring into the question of, if this is a standard corridor height, then when we look at MSD, which I know is coming, every corridor is now this height, which means if a corridor is twice the size of a normal corridor, that means the ship is going to be, because now 27 decks now means really like 50 decks of height, because they ain't the normal size. Like, that's the point. Everything was standardized. The D was the same length as the refit because it's the same corridor, as the Voyager, same corridor. Like, so what do you think? Or is it? I mean, I threw out a lot of you, but what do you think for the Rok-Tok thing and whatnot?
Oh, it's definitely for that. It's because Rok-Tok would take up the whole corridor walking down just herself, basically. But yes, it would alter the size of the ship somewhat, because we know there's a standard height. I think it's like 8 feet for the corridor, and then like another 2 or 3 feet on each side of it for like deck stuff. So yeah, it would alter it quite a bit. And it could be too that this is just outside the shuttle bay. It's a little bit of a different corridor or something.
Yeah.
Because I could assume they're maybe just arriving via shuttle, because they were loading on a shuttle when we saw them meet the Doctor, and this seems like they just got off that And I'd have no problem with a larger corridor just outside of the shuttle bay, honestly. But
wouldn't need to be there, but yeah, thematically it's kind of nice to go from giant shuttle bay to bigger corridor, turbolift, normal corridor, but then Rock can walk around the ship. So I feel like either way it's going to have to be. That said, of course, it's a slight optical illusion because the people in the corridor further away are normal sized, but they look small. But obviously Dahl is not a full-size person. Jankum certainly isn't, and Rok-Tahk is big compared to them, but I think they said like Dahl's like 5'1". So he's small for an average, quote-unquote, average Starfleet officer. And they also work shoes to make him taller, right? That's just, so average Starfleet might be 6'1", right? So reflective. If anything, the MH is a better example of, compared. He's an average size. I think he's actually kind of short for Starfleet, although will they get his height canon right? I don't know.
He's a little short for a Starfleet officer.
There we go. So it kind of screws your perception, this shot in particular, because Rock is not, I think she's like 8 something, right? But I don't know. It's confusing. But it's the Stowe logic, bigger.
Yeah, it definitely feels starbasey or industrial. It feels like that. It doesn't feel like a starship to me because there's no uniformity. It's just shapes everywhere. Because you just picture going down the Enterprise D or the Voyager, and all the segments that are all the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm slightly missing that because I often with this thing, my brain looks at something like either side. Well, I assume either side, but you see the top lights. There's just a plate line next to it in the wall, in the ceiling. And it just feels there for aesthetics, with some depth, but it just adds noise. Corridors meant to be very simple and repetitive, which kind of keeps it looking simple because your brain sees it's the same shape, right? The uniformity. This is a very big corridor. At least they've got sort of carpet though, because there's like padded floors which are matte. That's nice. But then also that makes you think, oh god, how wide is that corridor? Because if those are people, that's going to be, 20 people wide? 15 people wide? Like, this is an insanely big corridor. And if that's going to be the standard, then the Voyager is going to be one of the biggest ships I've ever seen. But I don't think it's going to be that.
Yeah. Corridor looks at least 10 or 12 feet wide.
Yeah, it's definitely twice the size of a normal corridor. Just round. We'll see. Because it could just be the Shuttle Bay Corridor, in which case this video should be called the Shuttle Bay Corridor First Look. We don't know yet.
But as we know, the exterior of the ship looks very similar to an Intrepid and a Sovereign, like they had a baby. So let's do a comparison to actual corridors from the Sovereign and the Intrepid.
Of course, one a movie budget and one a redress of the TNG sets, but very redressed.
See what I mean by the uniformity? It doesn't feel the same. You look at the upper picture and it's just such disjointed shapes and yeah.
Now, the E was a much larger corridor, in fairness. And I'd forgotten how big that was, because that was a movie budget, and they wanted to do bigger camera moves and have people running around fighting Borg. That would be much harder to do on the Voyager corridors. So there we go, fine. That's larger. But not taller. I think that, like, I'm happier with the wideness. I never really liked how empty the cut-ins to the E corridor were. They just go from all the detail to hyper bland. And it feels unbalanced, right? For me anyway. Whereas the Voyager I think is nicely detailed but not detailed. I wouldn't say it looks like either, really in any way. It's very much its own thing.
I think the other thing that's throwing me off too is the floor lighting, because almost all the corridors in Star Trek have the floor lighting. This one's definitely lacking that.
Well, it kind of does on the left. There's two little strip lights which are sort of.
And that thing you said might be a carpet on the Voyager-A. I think it's feels more to me more like a thin rubberized section, more than anything. So, but
we'll say it's carpet just for the happiness in our souls, and of our feet souls, because they like carpet too. But I certainly am somewhat missing the bold colours of the E. I mean, this is obviously a fan rendering of it, very well lit. There was another shot of it in combat mode where it looks sort of darker with blue lighting. But that's not normal, right? This is meant to be normal. But having I guess we don't know what the color of the doors are, but I don't think they're going to be a red or a gold or an orange they're probably going to be a metal, a reflective bluey metal, right?
Maybe they have the same kind of detailing as the Voyager doors that have that, like the
That'd be nice. Yeah.
that silver thing in the middle. But
Yeah.
no.
Which, in fairness, if you're designing a starbase, you would more want to cater for larger races because you're more likely to deal with those races than a standardized crew that on standardized missions. The chance of random people turning a starbase is higher than a random ship.
Maybe this is a starbase before they go to Voyager. Maybe this is
the dry dock.
The dry dock facility before they go to Voyager. We don't
If
really know
only.
for sure.
If only, Stuart, if only.
But we'd assume that it's Voyager, so we just keep that in mind when you start commenting down below, please. So yeah, do the things. Subscribe to the channel. Click notification bell icon so you don't miss any content from us. Hit the like button. And like I said, put your thoughts down below. We want to hear from you. It's the way this works. So anyway.
The other ways it works, Stuart, is via direct support. Via Patreon, it's monthly, or join the channel, also monthly. Literally every $1 does help what we do here. There's lots of content on these lots of treks, new, old, and in between. Yeah. And super thanks, any video that you find, including this one, hint, hint, or just like, comment, subscribe. All the normal stuff, Stuart, it all does help.
That's right. So, until next time, he's Commander Cockins.
He's got a Foley.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.